What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather forecast. And you're probably wondering why I'm not using my green screen today. It's just because it's going to be a monthly forecast on January 2021. And really, if I use a green screen, this video will be very hectic and I will be all over the place. And really, I'll be covering half the map. So I really just decided to not use a green screen in this video so you guys can see everything and everything you need to. So we're going to be looking at what we can expect throughout the whole month of January and the first month of 2021 here, whether it's temperature, the precipitation, or as well the general forecast here. So whether we're going to get below freezing temperatures, we're going to get snow, really just all of that here. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you want to know what you can get with your general month of January, be sure to watch the whole video here, and this should give you a good picture of what to expect this month here. Again, it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it'll most likely be in the higher range of accuracy. Let's just hope for that. But if you want to see more monthly forecasts, be sure to subscribe as well. If you have any questions for your local forecast for this month, be sure to ask, and I will do my best to answer them in the comments below here. But now let's go ahead and look at the general precipitation map here. So this is going to be whether you're going to be seeing above precipitation or below precipitation. So it's really going to be quite interesting here what we're going to be seeing here. So in the eastern United States, we're going to kind of be seeing above average precipitation in this whole area here. But however, in the southwest, we're going to be seeing kind of more below average precipitation here. So it's gonna kind of be another December like pattern here. So really we're not really starting to see that La Nina forecast or that La Nina resemblance is just quite yet here. We're kind of seeing it, but really when you look at the temperature outlook, it's going to be completely different to what a La Nina or what a La Nina criteria will really fit into. But let's check looking at the southwest here. So in the southwest, we're going to be seeing slightly below average precipitation here. So it's going to kind of be a bit less than usual. So it's not going to be a drought. It's just going to be a few inches less than you usually see. So if you average 6 inches in January, you might get 5 this season or 4 this year. So really it's just going to be slightly below average. So not going to be too major. You probably won't even really tell the difference, but that's going to be for areas like the Four Corner states, Nevada, and Southern California, where we can kind of actually start to feel that slightly above average precipitation there. However, now the general United States will actually be more above average precipitation here. We're going to be seeing a ton of the east going to be well above average for some areas, including Georgia. In that second shade of green, we're expecting up to moderately above average precipitation here for areas like Georgia, the southeast there, South Carolina, up the eastern corridor into areas like the mid-Atlantic. So that's where we can possibly see some potential big rainstorms and snowstorms throughout the whole month here. So it's definitely going to be averaging out throughout the whole 4 weeks to moderately above average precipitation there. So it's going to be very wet once you start getting that whole area in that second shade of green. But in the first shade of green, that lemon lime, we're going to be seeing a ton of areas that's going to be in that slightly above average precipitation there. So that's going to be seeing a few inches above average. Not going to really tell too much, maybe 3 to 5 inches above average. Not going to really be a huge difference here. However, if you're in that second shade of green, there you start to possibly feel the difference in the actual average and what you get this month here. But the lemon lime is going to be a few inches above average, not going to be too crazy, a few inches above average, whether it's snow or rain. So yeah, definitely not going to be too noticeable unless you're in that second shade of green. Now let's take a look at the temperature outlook here. So like I just said, this looks nothing like a La Nina outlook. Actually, it'll be the complete opposite. You'll see the below freezing temperatures, not below freezing, the below average temperatures in the Midwest, with the above average going to the southeast. But this is going to be very different. This is going to be another December type pattern here. So really we have not yet to have any La Nina resemblances or criteria, really we have not had any. And of course winter has kind of just started, because obviously it really started December 21st. But I mean, it's still throughout the whole month of November, December, we still had this El Nino type pattern here. So that's very interesting here. Will we get to a La Nina pattern by the end of this month? We will see definitely what could happen going into February. However, really, it's going to be very interesting. But in areas in the southeast and eastern coast, we're looking at slightly below average temperatures here. So that's not going to be too noticeable as well, but it could help, especially with all the above average precipitation. It could allow for some snowstorms deep in the South United States. But looking at slightly below average temperatures, maybe 3 to 5 degrees below average throughout the whole 4 weeks. However, there is a chance for maybe 1 or 2 very large cold fronts to bring in extreme Arctic air throughout the month here in the southeast, but really it's going to kind of be limited to only a few degrees below average. The same thing goes up for the Pacific Northwest, where we have another area where we could be seeing a cold air. So same thing goes for areas in the Pacific Northwest, and really in the center of these two areas of below average temperatures, we have a big blob of above average temperatures. So again, this is not what you would expect to have in a forecasted La Nina year. 2 months in a row with this pattern here, it does not look too good for areas in the Midwest. However, even if you're going to be seeing above average temperatures throughout the Midwest and Central Plains, it's been quite snowy already. I mean, even with the El Nino type pattern last month, we still had obviously 2 very large snowstorms from the Midwest and Southern Plains. So definitely doesn't mean you're not going to get any snow. It's still going to be very cold in these areas. It's just going to be slightly to moderately above average. So, and a slightly above average, we do have that first shade of orange. So in those general areas, really going all the way from the Canada border to areas like Texas, we're looking at a few degrees above average, maybe 3 to 5 degrees above average throughout the whole 4 weeks. But there are still chances for cold fronts to get in these areas. It just really won't be as frequent as the warm fronts. Same thing as well. Now going up into that second shade of orange, up in the upper Midwest, we have moderately above average temperatures, and there we'll possibly see a few more degrees above average there, up to maybe 5 to 6 degrees, maybe even 7 degrees throughout the whole month, where it can be above average. However, obviously there are chances for cold fronts to move in these areas. It just really won't be too frequent. The same thing goes for the cold fronts. There could be warm fronts in these areas, but a lot less frequent than the cold fronts. So that's kind of what we're seeing for the monthly outlook. Of course, areas in the Midwest are still going to be seeing very snowy winters. It's just the temperatures will be above normal, but it doesn't mean the snow won't happen. Now, take a look at my final and my whole outlook for the month of January of 2021, and this is what I have here. So there are a lot of colors and a lot of variety, but let's go ahead and start off with the southeast here. So in the hot pink color, we have colder. So it's going to be colder than usual. Could obviously see some very large cold front throughout the whole month here. So in general, it's going to be quite cold, all over from Texas to areas like North Carolina and much of the Gulf and southeastern coast. We're going to be seeing colder temperatures. So we are looking at some deep southeast cold temperatures throughout this month here. So definitely, if you like the cold and you're in a deep southeast, this could be your month. More to the north, however, in areas more to the north and the southeast, all the way to the mid-Atlantic coast, like central Georgia, central North Carolina, central Mississippi, all these areas here, we're looking at potential ice. And I say ice because there's a chance for, with this cold temperatures and the above average precipitation, that we could be seeing some frequent snowstorms in the southeast and Ohio Valley. So that could lead to some ice in areas south of that. So like areas like central Georgia, central South Carolina, central North Carolina, closer to the south there. So looking at potential ice for throughout the month here. It doesn't mean there's going to be ice very frequently. Just there's a chance for an ice or two storms to occur in either of these areas. It doesn't mean it's going to happen in all these areas. It just means there's a chance for it to happen in all these areas. More to the north of that, of course, we have snowy. So in that purple color, we have a chance for some snow. Even more to the north, like northern Georgia, northern Alabama, northern western North Carolina, northern Mississippi. So you're kind of seeing a pattern here. I guess you could say that. You're kind of starting to see that pattern there. So that's where you can possibly see some snow from Arkansas all the way up to areas like the tri-state area. So we are looking at potential a snowy pattern, like obviously what we saw with Gale, a big time snowstorm for areas like the Ohio Valley and Northeast. There's a chance for that to happen again this month, but even some more snow going more towards the south here. I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at potentially. So definitely very interesting. We're going to be seeing here potential snow all the way down the southeast here. But more to the north of that, we're also going to be seeing cold and snowy in that dark blue. Some of these areas may be seeing above average temperatures, but it's still going to be cold, even whether it's going to be above average or not. It's still going to be cold, and it's still going to be snowing. That's going to be for much of the Ohio Valley, portions of the Midwest, all the way up to the New England region. We are possibly going to be seeing a snowy and coldy January here. Even now we go more to the northwest, we have now in the red color, in that red region covering much of the Midwest, or the northern half of the Midwest, we have a blizzard or two. So there are chances for some blizzard, or for a blizzard or two in this region here. So you're probably thinking, but these areas are above average temperatures. Yes, but again, their averages are very, very cold. So only a few degrees below average isn't going to do much. It's still going to be below freezing. And also, like I said, there's still a chance or two, or there's still multiple chances for cold fronts in these areas no matter what. So it could be a perfect time where a cold front's right in place and it creates a blizzard. I mean, there's a chance for that to happen, and it has happened this year, of course. Happened with Gale, happened with Dane, even happened with John. So really, we have a lot of possibilities up in the Midwest. Even though you're probably bummed that it's going to be above average temperature, it's still going to be very snowy, quite frankly, and it's still going to be cold. And to the south of that, we have a very, very large orange region, and that's going to be covering much of the southern half of the Midwest and much of the plains. So we're going to be seeing slightly warmer than normal. So it's going to be a few degrees above average, of course. It's not going to be too crazy. To the south of that, in portions of southern Texas, we have average conditions. So it's going to be really most likely closer to average than anything else here. So maybe there's a chance for a slight cold front or a slight warm front, but it's going to be, in general, throughout the whole 4 weeks, mainly average, closer to average than anything. And then we'll go to the southwest region. We have a yellow color, and that represents a drier January. So we're going to be seeing slightly, of course, below average precipitation. It's going to be more warm, and as well slightly drier. So it's not going to be a huge drought. It's not going to be well below average precipitation. It's going to be slightly, so really not going to be too major. Really, it's going to be close to average. It's just going to be more dry than average, though. It's a big, very large white region across the western United States. We're going to be seeing that mountain snow here, so that typical mountain snow. The warm air in some of these areas and dry moisture really won't do anything to these areas. It's still going to be mountain snow throughout this month. Average continue to drop for these areas, so no matter what's going to be happening, we're going to be seeing this mountain snow throughout these very large and scattered areas. And then to the west of that, we have another average region. That's going to be kind of towards the California region. It's going to kind of be more average as well. It's not going to be really more than anything than average. There are going to be chances for some very large rainstorms or a very large dry spot. So it's going to be really average out with all the possibilities here. And of course, in the Pacific Northwest, we have cold and wet. So it's going to be even though it's going to be very warmer in the surrounding areas and dry, it's going to be very cold and wet in the Pacific Northwest. But I hope you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to subscribe, and see you guys later.